Now they can hear us.
It was live the whole
Yay.
time.
It was, yeah, we were live the entire time.
Rudolph.
Oh wait, on
There was-
YouTube
there was like no lag.
there was no
there.
music or anything playing. It was just our voices.
There was, well, yeah,
Oh, I'm
No,
tripping. I'm
he
tripping.
had
I
us
did
muted.
that, and well, I had us muted. Now, who knows? They just
Yeah.
play us every day, and it's just chaotic. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too
But
many
now we're back.
cooks.
Too
All
many.
right.
It's one. It's
one.
I'm
one.
the
He's
singular
cooking.
cook.
He's cooking too many things
Let
at once.
me cook.
I don't like having
That
this
you're
playback. Sure. I don't like having this monitor in front of me. I'm the person when I'm on a Zoom call, I like look at myself.
Sure.
And I always hide it because
You
I
just- you're
can't not
staying-
look
yeah.
at me.
I totally
or on
get
a
that.
FaceTime, I'm looking at myself.
Yeah, I got caught in that on a FaceTime with my family on Christmas, where I was just like, they were showing me stuff, and I was like just looking at myself. You know, I was like, man,
Like, no, that's great.
It's good for you.
I don't think they can see. I've gotten to the point where I try to put my self view if it's going to be up
up in
because
the
you can't
center,
take it
so
away.
you just stare at yourself.
So no, I put it as close as I can to the camera, so
Yeah.
it does look like I am as much as
you
possible.
can turn that off. Actually, by the way,
Oh.
your company is preventing you from turning it off. They want you to see.
No,
yourself.
I'm talking about FaceTime. I'm not
Okay.
talking about
I was talking about
Teams
Zoom.
and stuff. I'm an on, got my cameras on type guy.
Yeah, I'm not.
I love when that one sneaks in every now and again.
morning. Welcome to a very special end of the year party of Don't Be the Artist. I'm Hagen.
I'm Dave.
I'm Adam.
Welcome back.
I'm Jackson, and I'm not being paid to be here.
No,
Wow, that's incredible.
That's good for you. We're not either.
you're so kind. Out of the kindness of your own
He
heart.
didn't even charge us an appearance fee
Yeah.
for this.
I mean, I hear they do that in Hollywood.
Yeah, in the big times
Yeah,
for sure. In
yeah.
the big times, they definitely do it.
I mean, you shouldn't work for free, but
I mean, we're working.
here
for,
I am working for free.
How many years did you work for free?
I don't know, 8, something like that.
A lot.
Yeah, at least five.
It's unimportant.
5 or 6.
That's not what we're,
Yeah.
that's depressing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway,
Why is that depressing?
everything's depressing.
Yeah, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what happens at the end of the year, right?
We
Everybody's just
realize
depressed.
how fucked it's all been.
Like, what did we do all year? Oh, cool.
Worked for free.
Worked for free. Here we are at a very special end of the year party. We skipped a week for the holidays, I guess. I don't know.
I skipped a lot of weeks.
Yeah, how many weeks did you skip?
No clue.
I should have made that a game today.
That would have been good. That would have
I
been good.
should have. I totally fucked it on that one.
Let's go ahead and get them all out. So you have any more, Hagen?
Any more what?
Okay. What about you, Dave? Do you have any more jokes you've been sitting on?
Was your New Year's resolution last year to be a quitter?
Okay. Adam?
Did we do an exit interview?
Nope. All right.
Do you want to?
We're good.
Yeah, it's out.
Okay,
I got
cool.
it out of my system.
We got it all out.
If it comes up organically, I'm not. I'm gonna do it.
There's going to be more. It's just we didn't prepare them probably.
The other thing too, and Jackson, you've missed this, is I have a new setup today for the stream that hopefully will fix every single problem we've ever had. If you can't hear something, please let me know. Actually, I won't get mad at you today. But the one thing that we're missing now is because we're doing this on PC instead of Mac, is all of our fucking thumbs up animations are gone now.
We were just getting used
That's
to
a
them too.
bummer.
I feel like I gotta find some like OBS extension that
Yeah.
will do that, so that way we don't. Because on Macs they added this thing where if like you're on a video call and you do the thumbs up a
Yeah,
little,
it does the party.
Mhm. Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that because it makes you feel good when it makes you feel like, oh, there's a chorus of people giving me a thumbs up when really it could be just one person.
Right, but Adam was telling us that it was like happening when people were like getting fired on like Zoom
That's
calls.
Yeah,
cool.
like the manager would go to fire or lay somebody off and accidentally set off fireworks when they say the bad news.
That's so cool.
It's so fucking
People
funny.
got real mad about it.
I do
Why?
like that.
Fireworks going off, you're fired.
Yeah.
Look at all the fires that are happening.
Yeah.
I did specifically request for anybody who is watching this live or in the video feed, I specifically requested in my Diva moment to remove the mic stand. It just, I perform better
Well, it's
this way.
part of your writer.
Yeah, this is one of the things that has changed since the last time. I don't play guitar anymore. I'm strictly a singer. And this is just, I'm comfortable this way. Like, I need something in my hands at all times.
It's
So,
your dream to just be a singer, right?
It is.
Kind
my
of
dream.
looks like you're pretending to be a stand-up comic now.
yeah.
It's a little
Don't
concerning.
want to wear shoes anymore.
I do think I'm funny.
I think you are, but that's
Yeah, you're funny.
The problem there's a lot
don't
of
think I'm
stand-up
that
comics
funny.
who
Wait.
think they're funny and are not.
He said, I think I'm funny. And I think Adam saying, I think you are, sounds like, I do think that you think you are funny.
Do you care to clarify? Or do you want to leave that up in the air?
That's what I meant.
Nice.
Okay, so we're back from a little bit of a break. So much has happened. I have two little things that I want to talk about. The first, before we dive into our albums and everything, the first thing is that I saw Les Mis. We talk about Broadway when Jackson was here. We haven't talked about it since Jackson left, but it's perfect that
It's
I saw.
only fitting.
It's only fitting.
Quick question.
Yes.
How do you pronounce the entire name, Dave?
Les Miserables.
Okay, damn. I was hoping. I was
Is
hoping
it
he'd
less
stumble.
miserables?
Yeah. No, I didn't think he'd say that. I thought
No, that's more of a Texas public
He's like,
education.
but he's like
thing.
familiar with French though.
Did I say it right?
theoretically,
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
No, I mean,
just because
No, you said it right. You said it
section
right.
of his country,
but I didn't
does
sound like a
speak
French person.
No, but
saying
like you're
it.
familiar enough.
Can I have
Yeah.
a cup?
That would be a cancel bug.
Oh yeah, where are they?
You are familiar enough with French to be able to do that. So it's it makes sense.
So you
Yeah.
saw the
So-
Miserables?
I saw the Miserables.
Is that people? Have you guys heard people say that?
No.
Like in Texas?
Like
I
refer
think-
to it
I've
as
heard
that.
people say like Les Mis.
I think Hagen and
Les
I have
Mis.
said it
Yeah.
when we were coming up with our white trash rendition of it.
God, that would have
that's
been so good.
I mean, it's still possible.
possible.
Let's see if I'm reinvigorated when I see it tomorrow.
Yeah. So it was great. All that stuff. We can talk about the singers and stuff later. But the point, the real thing that got me was. When the show starts, they have a 14-minute lockout. So if you're late, you can't come in for the first 14 minutes because they're basically doing the whole prelude. They're basically telling you the whole story of how to get into the story.
And you can't get out either.
And you can't leave. You're stuck. So they're doing the whole like prelude, 14 minutes, and then as soon as that's done, there's a bunch of like changes, and so everyone comes in. So all their fucking flashlights are shining to find their seats because they don't know where they're supposed to go. So once I get over the fact that was happening and that was annoying, that there were all these flashlights shining and I'm whatever, the person that sits behind me and Kara is shining their flashlight for far too long after they've been seated and proceeds to talk almost the entire fucking time directly behind us.
You didn't say anything?
I would pull the move where I'd turn around and just look and then turn back and then they would stop. And then like 5-10 minutes later, they'd start talking again. Now, I tried to be a little bit... Oh, also, this is the fault of the theater. I do blame them a little bit, but the theater mainly. Intermission, you can go get your snacks. They fucking sell, like, bags of chips. So
that's
you can
such a bad idea.
Yeah, so stupid.
During like when they first came back from after COVID, they basically stopped at that same venue people from bringing drinks or food into the theater. They still sold it, but they said, hey, you have to eat it during intermission or beforehand. And it was great. It was like there was none of that.
It's
That's
crazy.
surprising to me. That's not always like that.
No.
'Cause I'm thinking of like in
I mean,
high
if
school
you're in
and
like New
stuff.
York City, it typically is in those nice theaters.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Even in like a high school auditorium, there was the rule
Don't
of
do
like,
that.
no food in the auditorium.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
So,
you have 5 minutes to eat your little,
your fucking
candy or
bag
whatever
of
the
chips.
fuck.
Don't bring the fucking loudest snack in the world
Sun chips.
into the theater.
I always just thought that was for in high school, at least for children, because they're messy.
Yeah.
No, it is. But,
I think it.
no
partly
no
is.
adults are responsible either.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's true.
There were people who like dropped their like didn't spill their drinks, but people who had like their
And it's an angled floor.
yeah exactly.
like in The
Yeah.
Office.
Like in
Hear
the
it
office,
rolling.
yeah, the wine bottle just rolling.
Also,
Okay.
quick correction: 5 minutes to eat your snack unless you are a woman, which is at this theater. You have to just pray that you
Oh.
have time to go to the bathroom because like the line for the women's
Insane.
restroom there, they actually block off part of the men's restroom, part of the stalls. They put a curtain through the middle of it, and the men can only use half the stalls because they're trying to like
yeah, get it
be-
going.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
like that would stress me
Yeah.
out so much. Of like, I have to pee. That's just a normal human thing.
Yeah,
I'm glad we invest a lot of money in the arts.
Yeah. I think they're renovating that theater.
hope
but
so.
Not
So-
what we're
That
here
seems
for.
like a easy list.
It should be. So the loud snacks aside, I kind of blame the theater for that. Kind of blame them. But then we're starting to get towards the end of the production, and I start to kind of be like, maybe I'm being too hard on these individuals. Maybe like it's not that big of a deal. They're talking. It's okay. We can move past this. And the main character's name in Les Mis. Do you know his name?
No.
Do you know his name?
No, Mr. Miz.
Yep.
It's actually Pepe Le Pew.
It's Jean Valjean. Jean Valjean is the main
Sure,
character.
yeah, we should have
Okay.
done
What
that.
was his name in our
John
rendition?
Valjean?
I think it was
Is-
John Valjean.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jean Valjean is the main character. His name is sung a lot, and he's also on stage almost the entire time. So the applause are happening. Everyone's like, yay, yay, yay. And the guy who comes up, who plays the character named Angelos, and there's no reason you should know who that is. He's a very small character, takes his bow, and the guy behind me is cheering, goes, Jean Valjean. I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. You were not watching.
Does he think that's his name, or does he think he's saying like "job well done" in French? Doesn't know French.
Bravo.
Yeah, it was. I was like, you know what? I should just let it go a little bit. And then he does that. I'm like, nope, fuck this.
No, don't.
Turns out you were
Yeah.
justified the whole time.
Yep. Turns out. Now I have one more small story that's music related, and I've been battling if I should tell it or not. And I think it's worth it to tell it. So I do apologize for some reason anyone associated with this story does hear this, but I have to. Student comes in and tells me they want to learn their dad's favorite song. Okay. Now,
It's an Eagles tune.
nope, it is an 80s song. You could say hair metal. Any guesses on what the favorite song might be?
Twisted Sister.
Nope,
Pour some sugar on me.
it is.
Fuck yeah,
Dude,
Is that a common thing? Is that why you knew that? Or
it's
just a good guess.
that's actually insane because the whole point of the story is whose fucking favorite song is Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Not a good person.
It's also, I was going to say it's also Dave.
Oh, it's the dad. I was gonna say, as a kid, I definitely liked that song.
And then I said, no, we can't do that. And he was like, why not? I'm like, I can't have kids doing that song on stage.
It's extremely vulgar.
Yeah.
He was like, why
Are
not?
the lyrics? All I remember is the chorus.
The song is just about sex.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But is it like overtly?
Yeah, there's like a so I was like,
It's,
look
it's
up the
about
lyrics.
as subtle as anything in the 70s could have been.
Yeah.
Like that Scorpion song, "Rock You Like a Hurricane." If you listen to those lyrics, it's like very clearly like German to English, poorly translated.
Right.
And it's about it's like give her the inches and feed her well, stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's
So
awesome.
If you
That's overt.
if you get to not far along in the song, it
umlaut.
has it has a bunch of lines that are about like hot and sticky, and then like there's you got the peaches, I got the cream. I can't have kids on stage doing that. That's not really good.
No.
That's fair.
And then the other part was that he was
Kids
like,
Bop.
is that my student, yeah, Kids Bop version. My student said, but it's really cool because the drummer plays with one arm. And I was like, well, there's a really important
So
distinction
talented.
here.
Yeah.
There's an incredibly important distinction. He has one arm.
Yeah, exactly. He only has one.
It's not just that it's super cool. Like it is really cool that he does that, but it's not just like, oh man, he just chooses to do that. And I will accept a cancel buck if that is
They're
if
not
that
on.
is
Look,
deserved.
it's all bets are
No,
no bets.
Was it
You said a kid said this, right?
Yeah,
Kids
yeah.
are dumb. It's fine.
was it this year that he got beat up outside of a hotel? The
think
drummer
so.
for Def Leppard?
Was that last year? I don't remember.
It
I
was
don't remember. That's-
Adjacent.
Yeah,
That is not a fair fight.
Well, and it was one of those things where I think it was a like a 16-year-old who was just being a shithead, just like basically like attacked him and by like coming up behind him and like sucker punching him in the back of the head.
Jeez.
That
Wow.
sounds about right.
Yeah. So
Um,
I think that was this year.
Wonder what else? I wonder what other shitty things have happened to that guy. Because that's two real bad things, and the order of which they happened is also unfortunate.
This is true. Okay, well, so anybody else have anything they want to any other holiday stories they want to tell? No. I drove to Dallas 5 days in a row.
I kind of picked up on that.
Drove to
That
Dallas
honestly
5
doesn't
days
surprise
in
me.
a row.
I feel like you've done that before over the holidays.
Yeah, it was fine, and then Christmas morning, I turned to Kara and I was like, "I'm so done with this." Although, interestingly enough, also that like right after I said that, okay, so Christmas Eve, we go to this fucking dive, and I see.
You went there 2 nights in a row.
I'm
Whenever
so
you
pissed
guys
about
kept
that.
saying that, I
could
was
go
like,
on about that forever.
why are we here again?
I know it was infuriating.
I only went one night, but
Yeah.
they kept saying, "Oh, last night when we were here." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, it was.
I love a good dive bar.
Nope,
Two
this is
nights in
not
a
one.
row.
Yeah, 2 nights in a row.
This
is
is
not-
not a good dive bar.
There's nothing likable about this place."
So we
Bartender seemed nice.
bartenders were incredible. That was the best part. So we walk in and there's an old friend. There's Mikey, from Oak Street in Denton who was at this bar on Christmas Eve. And I was like, excuse
That's
me.
a surprise.
What are you doing here? And drinking and with his girlfriend. That's what he was doing there. And
What? Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they were trying to leave when we got there. They closed the bar down. And then we were driving back to Dallas on Christmas morning. We drove past him. It was like, how is this the how what? How does this even happen?
Did anybody get any good gifts?
I
Oh
mean,
shit! Nobody got good gifts. Moving on.
That computer down there.
Nice.
There you go.
This was a gift
Yeah,
to yourself or
From my family.
very good.
dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Shout out to the fuck. I almost said my fiance's last name.
That's crazy.
It shares a lot of one of your names.
It does. This is very true.
So cool. Moving on.
Anyway,
Been a
so
while since you were here.
Yeah, I didn't say fiance last time I was here.
Oh wait.
oh
yeah.
congratulations.
Arigato gozaimasu.
God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I keep looking at myself.
Stop it. It's
Can't.
so long.
Oh, I got a good gift. My wife got me a tech deck skate park
That's
Whoa.
so
That's
cool.
and
that's
like
fucking rad.
and like 10 tech decks.
Do they still
Damn.
make them, or did
was-
she like
it's-
do an eBay run?
I know they still make them. It's like a barracks replica.
I used to have tech deck shoes
Seriously?
because they came with a tech deck, and like
Damn.
as a kid,
you could just
like
buy a tech deck.
exactly. But like as a kid, you're like, well, I'm gonna get the one so I can get the thing.
Yeah, you got to get the shoes.
Yeah.
Wait, I got you guys gifts. Let's do it.
He wants to do it now.
Album, yours is right there.
I also got this shirt for Christmas.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a good
shirt.
good shirt, man.
I like the
These
shirt
other
you were
ones?
wearing beforehand, but
If you can grab the other ones.
I don't. Are those them?
Yeah.
My
he might hyperextend.
No,
I-
I figure I
That's a
can probably
lot
get-
of bows on that present.
I helped my in-laws install a microwave above their stove today, and uninstalling the old one
That
really kind of hurt
sucks.
my back.
yeah.
I don't know how that goes, but that one's heavier than I thought.
Are you
Thank
guys the
you.
rappers in your?
Fuck no.
I wrapped this.
Congratulations.
It looks good.
Yeah. That's
I learned
incredible.
how to do it the other day.
I do not wrap. I put things in bags.
I wrap everything.
I wrap
and I
stuff.
hate it.
Yeah.
I had to
But-
wrap a lot of things because my wife waited a little bit too long to wrap some stuff.
I see.
That
I
sounds
see.
suspicious.
I put things in bags and I call
Don't
it a
you just
day.
hate
I
your
called it-
wife?
Like all the, no, that's not what I was saying. She's been sick.
She was
Okay.
shredding the gnar.
No.
Whoever wants
So
to go
sick.
first can go first.
all at the same
bows.
time, or
Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah,
All at the same time.
We're gonna
Time.
need
Classic
something. We're gonna need
Christmas.
something
Let's
sharp to
economize.
open.
You
these
know,
ones.
here's what we'll do while we're opening.
Are they the
Some
same thing?
fancy paper
Yeah.
too.
Then we'll have one person open it.
Yes, yeah, they're both. You guys, I got you guys the same gift.
Since I have no hands available,
I think
I'm
that's
not
fair.
going to open
That's
mine.
not your problem then. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put this one back.
Or it could be
No,
set
it's
dressing. Up to
set
you.
dressing.
Set dressing.
dressing.
It looks nice.
Yep.
I'm trying not to rip the all the bows on the top.
I'll take those bows back.
I
Yeah,
think,
that's what-
I think
yeah,
you
yeah,
should.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was concerned about. That might be all the bows you have.
No, we have a fuck ton of bows. Okay, you're gonna need scissors to open the,
I'm sorry
box.
to the audio only listeners. This is probably a fucking nightmare.
Can we turn the Jeopardy down?
Sounded like.
This is really bad. This is where like cheap wrapping paper comes in handy because it comes
Yeah, I was
off
gonna
really
say,
easily.
This is nice wrapping paper. That is a pain in the ass to get off without.
It holds. It doesn't fold
Yeah,
as like you don't see creases, but there is something
Okay,
to
so
be said about that.
Album's got his open.
Now
I've got
we'll
mine.
get-
It's
So yours, it hasn't come in the mail yet.
okay.
Oh.
So it's an
It's a
Adam-
picture of
an
what it is.
Adam for album. And it's a shirt.
An Adam for
Oh hell
Adam
yeah!
for album.
See?
That's good. Let me get.
I know he's a real T-shirt kind of guy.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I've
You're a
always
t-shirt
said
kinda
that.
guy,
I got
right?
this from my wife this Christmas.
A
This
sweater?
guy. Yeah, sweatshirt, whatever.
I got you a T-shirt.
None of us are alphas because not an alpha for Adam because none of us have a pocket knife to open up Hagen's gift.
No.
No.
Ah,
Well, we don't. Well, I was gonna be a dick and say we don't have keys anymore, but
yeah, it's
Well,
true.
You're like, I was going to, and I'm going to anyway.
still
You
will.
still said it. Yeah, my dad
That
is
is
one of those.
also, not only do we not have pocket knives, but Hagen just grabbed the cutest box opener or
Wow.
box cutter.
Yeah, my dad's the
that's
type of
pretty
guy
great.
who has a pocket knife, but like clearly only
he-
has it for Christmas.
I was gonna say, does
Hmm.
he only remember it for Christmas?
I think he's always got it, but I just doubt he uses
Yeah,
it.
I meant to do that this year, and then I forgot it at home. So
It's just I'm around enough people who throw a knife my way.
The latest and greatest.
Jackson, what do you think?
That's hilarious.
It's awesome.
Oh my god.
It's so good.
It's a gig fan.
I got you guys gig fans.
Yeah. That's actually amazing.
And it's way better than mine.
I was gonna ask, is it the same?
No, I didn't want to
Do you
hinder
wanna
you guys
trade?
with the yellow gig
I don't.
fan.
Didn't
I
get
don't
yourself a
sweat
new
as
one?
much. If you want to take my new one, you can
No.
give me your old one.
I couldn't.
You gig so much more than me.
I-
Off air, he's gonna do it.
If he does it, Heather's gonna give him a lot of shit.
yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, of course.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Dave.
Now we know we need to get you a new fan.
No,
Yes.
no.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, he's just fucking giving the hint.
I
Why
bought
me?
you guys. I bought 2 fans.
He's
Someone else will buy me one.
That's great.
That's a weird existence.
My brother did buy me a video game that was on his list
That's
this
so
year.
good.
that's
And,
a
like,
thing somebody always does.
He bought me 2 video games, and I did ask him, "Do you have a PS5? Because you can take this one, and I'll play this one, and then we can swap." And he goes, "No, I don't have that." I was like, "Fuck, I feel bad."
Do you want to come
Yeah.
over?
I just got
That
him like
honestly, that kind of sounds like he's saying you should buy me a PS5.
a, I got
Yeah.
him just like a figurine, so I was like, I feel like I should have gotten him that.
That's funny. Okay, so we ready to dive into this end of year party, into all of our albums of the years.
Let's do it.
Okay, well, Adam did me a favor, and I didn't do my part of it because I had to work late, and that was annoying. But I was curious of how many hours and minutes we podcasted this year.
This is gonna be tough for me.
This doesn't include Fun Fridays.
Okay.
Which there were
Yeah.
52 Fridays, right? I think this year, and
You guys did at least half.
we did probably about, I'd say a little more than half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each one of those was at minimum an hour and a half. So
Minimum.
Yeah. But this is just for the podcast. So this year we podcasted 2,784 minutes,
Oh,
46.4 hours on the main feed. So that's not including Patreon as well as our Fun Friday stream. So it's been a productive year, I'd say.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So that means as a listener,
It's a full week of work.
if you've got like 2 full days where you got nothing to do,
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
including food and bathroom
time.
breaks, you could
We
probably
got you.
marathon.
Yeah, this entire
our
year
videos.
of content. So I thought that was pretty cool. But we'll do our kind of normal format for those who don't know. We run through each one of our albums of the years, basically like our picks, and then we'll talk about kind of how 2023 has been in music and so on and so forth. I do have an order here. If anyone would like to not go first, say so, or else I have decided who goes in what order.
Whatever you got.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, you're first.
I want the Hagen roulette.
So I do have it set here you're more than welcome to mention any honorable mentions or top 5s or kind of however you want to run through it, and then we'll talk about your album of the year.
I just want to say that
I love you.
I love you guys.
Thanks. Love you too.
Yeah. I think one of the only ones that's not going to be on one of y'all's lists is probably the Mike Viola record that came out this year, Paul McCarthy. But my favorite album of the year was Feist's Multitudes. And it was my favorite because of just the textures in it. It's a lower energy album for me that I would typically listen to as much as I've listened to this.
Aren't they like an indie pop act?
It's just
I've never listened to them. That's why I ask.
Leslie Feist is like the main writer, and she has like a touring band and a recording band and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so she's of the fame. She did the song like 1, 2, 3, 4 and
If
Musha
you
Boom.
heard a song that was more not off of this album, probably you would definitely know it.
Yeah, a couple of popular ones, but this is not.
It's not like that. Though.
It's not mainstream at all.
No, it's not, and it is certainly low energy. That is correct.
A real snoozer,
It wasn't a
somebody
snoozer.
might say.
It's a grower.
It wasn't a snoozer. It was just like it was just kind of like listening to it front to back. There was just like I think I have to take a break.
Yes.
Because it was just I think that the textures were incredible, but I will say that the textures all kind of at a certain point blended together, which I thought was really cool, but it was made it harder for me to just continue listening. So
Yeah, we listened to it. My wife and I listened to it mostly when we groom our dog because it's really relaxing.
yeah.
But I just found myself the more it opened up to my ears that I was just like, was like, oh shit, this is super heavy.
Right.
And then I looked into the background of it, and it's about
Sorry, I'm laughing because I haven't heard the term grooming in the genuine sense in a while. And I was like, you did what, Dave? You did what?
brushing our dog's
No.
hair.
No,
You're
it is,
not in the
it is
wrong.
the correct
Yeah,
term.
I know.
It's
I'm just
me.
trying to help you through it.
The world is wrong.
World is wrong.
But yeah, it started opening up to me because we listened to the first single from it on Fun Friday.
We did. And,
And
I
it-
remember when it came out, and I wanted to listen to it, and I think I started to, and I think I just couldn't find the right way to sit down and listen to it.
Yeah, but it's really great.
Yeah, I say all of the things I say, and I think it's a great album. I think that if you have like the space where you can kind of like chill out and vibe to some shit, this is controversial for the year. I would pick this over the Andre 3000 album to chill out and vibe to.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think that's controversial with us.
Oh, well, with us, no, but I think a lot of
Pitchfork it is.
yeah, for a lot of people, that album was like the fucking the thing to chill out to. So
Name brand.
They'd never heard of Brian Eno, so
Another name brand.
nope. There it is. I gotta
See, I
do that one
knew
more.
one day you would get confused by the 9 pages of sound effects.
It's impossible. One day.
What are your what's your top 3? Because did you hum and haw over your choice?
No.
Or was this obvious?
I think I ended up doing a similar thing to what you did with your favorite album of the year, where I was just like, I'm just gonna pick 5 that I listened to like the most throughout the year.
yeah.
So my top 3 are Feist's Multitudes, Queens of the Stone Age's record, and Times New Roman, and I'd have to say Bristol Maroney's Ultra Pure.
Okay.
Very
I was
nice.
surprised by your choice.
I
didn't
was too.
expect it.
I was-
the Feist
I-
record.
Yeah, I really like it, and I think it makes sense why you picked it, but it was surprising still.
I was
What-
I was surprised by both of your choices, to be honest. But
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was-
same.
I
yeah.
ran out of time to decide, so I just had to cave and go. I'm picking this one.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
But the more I looked into the background of it, a lot of the material in the album is not super on the nose, but lyrically, it's about her struggles with becoming a mom through the pandemic, and like one of the song titles, for an example, is called "Forever Before," and the concept is that she's never had a forever before because she's been touring her whole life.
Yeah.
So now that she's a mom, she's like, "Wow, I have a forever. Like,
Yeah.
I am forever a mom."
That's great.
And then I started hearing the lyrics, and I was like, "Shit, this is heavy."
That happened to me with the National albums. So the National released 2 albums this year.
Yeah.
The first one I liked, didn't love. The second one I was more into, but once again I was just like, there's better National albums. And then recently, the singer Matt Berninger, not sure how you pronounce his last name.
Behringer, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Behringer. He did an interview with David Letterman on their YouTube channel, and he just kind of talks about, apparently the whole album is just like about he was going through a really bad bout of depression, and like just what that recontextualized. Like, I mean, if you listen to the National, you could probably guess that, but like
Yeah, but
it recontextualized, and I listened to the album. I was like, oh, this is much better. A lot of the stuff he's talking about, like being in a drugstore with slippers on. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, now hearing him talk about his experience over the past like 5 years, and that I was just like, oh, that paints a much bigger picture. Like having slippers on in a drugstore waiting for your medication. I was like, before that, I was just like, that sounds good, I guess.
Oh yeah, my brain immediately was like, yeah, that's a funny line. He probably got lazy during the pandemic, like we
Yeah.
all did with fashion.
And there's
And it's
another.
like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was like another one of like there's a lyric calling "Getting the Hornet's Nest Out by the Weekend," and I was just like another thing where I was like that sounds neat, but like when you think about it, he's like talking about like how do I get rid of this before things like the time that I want it to be gone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, so yeah, context can really change
yeah,
your whole outlook.
Yeah, I really have to reiterate how much of a shock it was, but it was a great pick. It was a
Yeah.
great pick. I think that the albums that I think that we all picked felt. I do think there was a bit of like, fuck it, I have to pick something. I can always change, but it's also, it felt like really kind of truer that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's
I
nice.
I mean it.
Yeah.
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 But in a negative way, like fuck it, I have to pick something, or like
No, it's like for me, it was like I have to pick something. I don't like I have all these albums I have to pick, and what I just kind of went with, like the more that I like sat with it, I'm like I think this was always the choice. I just didn't know, and then the fact that that was my gut choice. That was it.
Yeah, we're trying to not like dismiss other albums. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure for at least 3 of us, Foo Fighters and Queens of Stone Age albums were all like not necessarily going to be our top pick, but they were like in the contention
they're
and
up
things
there.
we're thinking
Yeah.
about for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I easily have a top 10, and it was more of a frustration of like, wow, I have to talk about just one.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned that you had like whittled
20.
it down to a top 15.
yeah, I think last time we talked, I had 15 or 20.
Yeah, you
And then
did,
I was
yeah.
like,
Yeah, well, I
there's
had
only
16.
like 5 that are real.
I had 16 or 21.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take a second. I'm going to read a couple of Instagram submissions for those of you who responded to our story of what your albums of the year were. Killian, our big MVP, who helped us with our Patreon episode.
First Patreon episode.
Yeah, with letting us borrow a saxophone. He gave us 3 albums, which just I asked for one, but
You know,
great.
top 1 or 2 or 3.
People always saying that they want more than one album. I can't even handle one album. Fuck. I tried it. It was an orgy joke. It was an orgy joke. I was trying.
Okay,
Threesome, not orgy.
His first one. Welcome back. his first one he sent was an artist named Kola Zonka. I hope I say that correctly. They released an album in February. He said Buck Meek. I didn't listen to the Buck Meek album too much, but what I did listen to, I liked.
Meek.
Buck Meek. And then the Andy Schauf album, which I believe we listened to some of that on Fun Friday once. So that was Killian's. And then another good friend, Cole Mitchick, telenovela Poet's Tooth was their album of the year.
Nice.
Yeah, so these are all things we asked everyone's album of the year on Instagram, just so we have more shit to check out that we haven't maybe haven't heard this year. But then the same thing for the audience. Hopefully you don't know these artists and you go check it out. So, so now I have a whittle game for us. How many guest hosts did we have on the show this year?
Do I count?
Oh,
Right now?
Ooh, good question.
No, you don't. Nope, not the way that I've counted it. The way I have it set up is that you don't have to include Fun Fridays / Patreon, but you can if you want. So there's
This is real convoluted. There's a lot of asterisks
There's a
here.
lot of,
well, so
lot of
it-
variables.
I'll
to
give
that.
you the multiple choice of the numbers of people, and then if you can name those people, then you'll get bonus points. So was it 3, 4, 5, or 6?
I'm going to go 5.
Okay, Adam.
Do Price is Right rules and do 4,
Okay, Jackson, do you want to play?
even though it's multiple choice.
It's more than 3, so I think it's got to be 4, 5, or 6. I'll take 6.
Okay.
6 feels wrong though. Feels wrong.
So realistically, if we're just talking about main show, 4 would be correct. If we include Patreon, then it's 6. It's 6.
Or 7,
Does
depending
anyone,
on
does
if
anyone,
you count
does
right
anyone
now.
want to try to name any of our guest hosts for bonus points?
Ben Easley,
Okay.
Riley,
Okay.
Mike,
Biffer, Bofer,
Okay.
Bomber.
Bancer, Mal.
Those would be our 4 main show.
Yeah. And then
Oh, okay, yeah, there were yeah.
Alan. And I don't know who the 6th is.
He came in sounding like this. The last minute on that Grammys episode, he was all like, he came in.
Oh, Robbie.
Yeah.
I was gonna say just a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot about Robbie. I guess because all the other ones,
mean-
it was like we had to plan it and like,
Out of anyone to forget, that's,
He walked in
Yeah.
during the episode.
yeah.
So, Dave, you named all of them. That's pretty sick.
That
So-
feels
pretty
more
good.
You
memorable.
you named 5 of them. I gave you a hint on one.
That's what I was thinking. Was that's a pretty memorable entrance. Like
Yeah.
as soon as Hagen's like, guess name the people who are on, I'm like, well, Robbie. And then that's about all I got. I forgot their whole rest of the year apparently. So
So you guys both got it right too, just in different ways. You said 4, you said 6. So I'm gonna put everybody at an even 5 points then.
everybody got it.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
You named the people, they got the numbers. That's sick. Good work, everybody. So we kind of already talked about how the amount that we did the podcast this year, but I there's like a part of me that feels like these numbers are potentially just ramping up. There's like maybe it's a fear I have
Irrational. It's rational. That's a rational fear.
that we're just gonna keep ramping these numbers
Yeah.
up and keep doing, because I feel like that's how it's been since 2020. Since we came back and we're doing one episode a week, it was just like constant ramp up and go and go
From
and
Home
go.
episodes.
Yeah. I think that like we're really going to be on that wave for 2024. But I think the amount of work we did this year is maybe too much, maybe just right. Who knows? But it's
Well, we did enough work that one person quit.
It's always a good sign.
So let's back that off a little bit.
yeah. True. Yeah.
Who was it?
Adam.
Yeah.
He didn't quit.
I
He
haven't
sure
been
is
here
checked
since
out right
you
now.
left.
Yeah.
Well, I was pulling up our stats actually for the year. So.
Yes, I would love to hear more of those.
Actually, this is all-time stats. Sorry, not just this year, but 253 episodes on the main feed.
Oh.
Nice.
Average episode is an hour and 10 minutes. I think
Nice.
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
That's gotten longer over the
That's
years, too.
definitely,
Yeah, I think
definitely
so.
gotten longer.
Yeah.
We average 3 episodes a month.
Yeah.
Pretty
That checks out.
Pretty
Yeah.
spot on, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're doing pretty good on terms of how many episodes per month. We do definitely drop off in January, as our listeners will know
I
Yeah.
think also
in the past.
what you're referring to there, those numbers are skewed from like the however many years that this was a bi-weekly podcast. So no matter what,
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
don't sell yourself short
that's
there.
true. That's
those
very, very
numbers are
true.
going to skew that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've done at least
Or
52
for a
episodes
long time
this
at
year.
least.
Yeah, it was a lot this year. So moving on to my album of the year. It's my turn. My
Man, who
my turn.
decided this order?
I did.
Kangaroo Court.
Kangaroo Court did.
Imagine if
This
Hagen
is
was like,
Kangaroo Court.
I don't want to go next.
That would have been good. Have a whole like conversation with yourself.
I feel that would have been creepy. Yeah, so my list was very long. There were some things I put on here that I listened to quite a
How
bit.
long was it?
This is about 20.
Cool.
About 20.
I had 21.
That's cool. Some of the albums that really stuck out to me a whole lot that would make like a top 5, The Record, Boy Genius. That album I think is just incredible. Why Would I Watch by Hot Mulligan, I think is one of like the coolest emo albums I've heard in a long time. I listened to it so fucking much. Foo Fighters, that got a lot of listens. Also, like things like the Better Lovers EP, God Made Me an Animal. Like that is a truly just an incredible hardcore. I felt we were putting an EP on the list, but I was like, I don't know how to not.
It's the opposite of the Feist record.
Yeah.
Just go with it. That's another thing where like the whole EP album, mini
Yeah.
album, whatever, like single, fuck it. It
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
on the
Exactly.
list.
Yeah. Some like kind of like real surprising things for me though were like 100 Gex. Like I loved that album. Jackson's wearing the 10,000 Gex shirt. I love that album so much. And stuff that maybe like I don't know. I listened to it a lot when it was popping. Was the Mark Glaspie record?
Yeah, that
Like,
was
so
fuck,
good,
dude.
Yeah, such a good album.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot on here, but my album of the year does go to Briston Maroney, Ultra Pure. It was very difficult to decide, but and here's my problem. My top 3 albums were Theo Katzman, Be the Wheel, Foo Fighters, and then this. And man, the Foo Fighters record has its ups, but it definitely has its fucking downs.
Yeah.
And Theo and Briston on both these records decided, no, we're gonna be more mellow and we're gonna be more like just like chill songwriters, and we're gonna beat you into submission with our chords and our lyrics. And Foo Fighters did that as well. So it was just like I had no like there was no clear path between any of that. So that's not fun. What did you do?
I just said a joke.
His joke
I-
was the Foo Fighters record had downs.
I didn't wish anybody to say it out loud. That's the goal. I want to get canceled so I can't come back.
I thought you were talking about. I read it out loud because I thought the joke was bad songs, like bad moments.
Nope.
Hope that's not.
I wish it was.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. He said it.
No,
Yeah, but he said it.
he showed it to me. And I
Privately.
was like, I'm not gonna say that out loud.
You got the darkest cancel bug for your dark, dark heart.
So
So yeah, your picks.
Inevitably, Ultra Pure, Brista Maroney. He said that this album was probably his most his most raw thing he's ever written. He's only had one other full length, but he's released a lot of EPs and a lot of singles and stuff.
And the deluxe album, right?
And the deluxe album, yeah.
You got to qualify for the Grammys twice.
Yeah, exactly. I
Black Puma style.
Yep. I really think that it's one of the most like stand out as far as album flow, and I also think that the ones that are up are not like too up, but they are enough to make you kind of like move a little bit and dance a little bit. It's such a great album. So
And he played everything on the record.
he played everything on the record. Yeah.
And that was another record that I think it was like when did it come out? Because we were waiting all year.
September.
So probably like a month ago, I was listening to it on the way home from a gig, and I was just like, "Oh shit, this album's heavy." Because I did that thing where I find myself singing along, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know actually what I'm singing about."
Yeah.
And then I pay attention to it, and I'm like, "Oh wow."
Yeah, the one song where he's like, "I don't deserve your love, but fuck it, it's worth it." Kind
Yeah.
of like, man, that shit's incredible. Especially like he has the one song about like, because he's pretty young, and the one song about like discovering who you are in your 20s and like how depressing that process is. Just like, God, will you stop, man?
But all the while, it's like the catchiest melodies ever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's easy to miss the words.
Yeah, it's very, very true. So huge fan, and I think I'm going to jinx it by saying this, but there is a very small chance that I get to open for him in February, and I'm super excited.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there is I think I jinxed it, but I'll knock on wood and do whatever I have to do to make sure I can open for him in February or
I
March.
want to be in that band. Am I in that band?
Nope.
Fuck.
It's okay. We can still go.
Yeah, you can still go. Yeah.
Do they need a sub?
Oh, maybe actually.
Yes.
I can't remember. They might be in Colombia.
How's y'all's time pace this year? Do you feel like time has moved by fast?
Yes.
Or slow?
Slow for
So
me.
fast. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I don't feel that fast thing. I feel like I'm just at a moderate pace.
It feels like Christmas came like as an example, like it was all this build up in December, but the build up just went away. It was like, oh, it's Christmas now, we're done, and New Year's is tomorrow, basically.
Yeah, the end of the year has kind of felt fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that for a different reason, but like I my entire year I was building up to a 3-week vacation, which was like in my mind a majority of my time off for the year. And so like I was like, oh, all I did was this trip in November and I did nothing else the rest of the year. And then I looked back and I was like, no, I did a ton of stuff. So like
Yeah.
I feel like moderately paced was the right thing. Like I look back at things I did in January. Like I forgot I did that Juno show and I was like, oh, that's a great memory.
Oh, yeah, that was
And
the
how did
show.
I forget that I did that?
Right.
Which I see as a good thing because I've
Yeah.
done a lot of cool things.
very true.
So I feel happy with my pace that I'm going. I hate it when people say that, like, can you believe it? It's already September.
But, I mean,
It's
it
like,
does-
Yeah, I can't believe it. That's how time works.
Just the fact that it feels faster as you get older.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
That's-
is
yeah,
I
it's
don't
the
have
truth.
that statically. I do have years where I'm like, wow, it went by fast, but then I have years
Yeah, I
where
think
it's a slog.
it varies year to year. Yeah.
And not even in a slog like emotionally or anything, like just in a, like, oh, time's just moving slower.
Man, I can talk about time moving slow. I can tell you that I've had the last couple of days off of everything. And I feel like, thankfully, those days are going so slow.
That's
That's
good.
nice.
Where I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's only 3 o'clock in the
Nice.
afternoon. Holy crap.
That's really good.
Yeah.
It's been so nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I was very much for the first like half of the year traveling a bunch, and I was like looking forward to every little thing, and then by the time I knew it was done, I had already done it, and then the second half of the year I wasn't traveling as much. I thought that would slow me down, and then I was like, oh, tomorrow's that gig? Shit, like that's how it felt, and that's fine. I didn't have a problem with it. It just kind of a lot of things came and got me. So
So email in. Time moving fast, time moving slow.
time you ain't slow.
Email in. They want to hear.
So
I don't want to hear, but they do.
Don't tell me.
No,
tell
we
them.
can give you your email out.
Please don't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna read some more Instagram submissions from you lovely people. So our good friend Blake gave us two albums of the year: Cousin Wilco and another Triumph
Great
of
album.
Ghetto Engineering by Open Mike Eagle, which I want to listen to that very, very badly, but I haven't yet. So you listen to the Wilco album?
Yeah.
You listen to it?
No.
There's a lot of really cool production work. I think if I remember correctly, so this is our first time working with this specific producer, and that producer I don't think is in their wheelhouse, and I think there's some pretty cool sounds
Nice.
from that. But as far as what it is, it's a Wilco album. Like, it's what you expect, but I think it's like 10 songs. So it's one of those things like a new Mountain Goats record where it's like
Right.
it happens every year. If it sucks, there's gonna be another one next year.
Right.
If it's great, awesome. Go see them on tour. So
And then our friend Alan, who did our K-pop episode with us, her picks were Alex Johnson. The album is Seasons, and then 17, the FML EP. And 17 was her favorite K-pop band that she
Yeah, I
mentioned.
remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah. They were super cool.
They were very, very cool. So
did she talk about Alan? Did she talk about the like the mini albums that they?
yeah. And she brought props. I think one of them was one of those mini albums.
So weird. In
Yeah.
Japan, when I was at Tower Records, they have a floor that is entirely K-pop.
Wow.
And we went, and like every floor had like Tower Records in Shibuya is I think 7 floors, and every floor has like CDs, vinyl, cassettes, everything you can think of. But the K-pop one was almost entirely just like booklets and stuff like that. And then they had. My fiance and I were like, well, those are mini clips. That's
Right.
so cool. I mean, like, I don't like K-pop, but I think I might have to get into it if they're doing mini clips. And we found out that it's kind of akin to like apparently like an NFT type thing of like you open it up, you scan a QR code, and then like it starts playing on your phone, that kind of thing. And I was sufficiently let down, as I always am when I try to listen to K-pop.
Yeah, we found some gems when we were listening with Alan. It would kind of. There were things that kind of ended up being a little samey.
Yeah.
But I think more of the K-pop thing is like just looking at all the people that are on, like that are doing anything at any given moment. It's like there's like those bands are filled with so many people. That's kind of the incredible thing.
Yeah.
So
It's
Is
overwhelming.
17 the
Yeah.
one with like 17 people?
70,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. No, I saw a cutout in Japan, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
That is a
so
massive
many
cutout.
people. It was insane because it was like life size, so
I
you
was
could
about to
take
say,
it.
like,
'Cause
cardboard cutout.
everywhere in
Everything.
Japan, they're like super into photo ops, and it was like take a photo op with like life size cutouts right next to the Rainforest Cafe. I did find a Rainforest Cafe.
You
Did you
son
go?
of a bitch.
I tried.
You son of a
I tried,
bitch.
but it was
it busy?
it was about to close, and I was just like, yeah, it's not worth the meme. I just wanted a photo in front of it.
Now, what is everyone's thoughts on the year and how releases were? How did music feel this year, or playing music? How did either one feel this year?
I won't answer the playing music, but as for release,
Why not?
because I just don't want to. Not a negative. I just don't want to. I'll let you guys handle that
You
one.
don't have to fucking answer any of it.
I won't answer any of it then. Adam,
You don't have to be here.
I'm not getting paid.
How did it feel? I'm sorry. That was rude of me.
Release-wise, I think it was incredible. I
Yeah.
thought it was a great year. Yeah. For the first 6 months of the year, I was listening to an album a day as like a kind of like, oh, make sure you're always listening to music. And it wasn't always new music, but a lot of the times that was the easiest thing to do. It was awesome. There's so much great music that came out this year, and I like that I had such a long list as opposed to years where I felt like I was just kind of having to grasp at straws. And I don't listen to a lot of my albums of the year for that reason.
Right.
Yeah, last year was a slow year, if we remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it
don't
was.
think any of us had more than like 5 we were serious about
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
year.
So yeah, it was a good
Yeah.
year.
I
Seemed
thought-
like there
I
was
thought
a
it was
lot,
great.
especially in the second half of the year. Seemed like there was a lot that came
Yeah.
out.
I thought it was a very, very jam-packed year of releases, though. I think that's probably the only thing. It's like there was just so much. So
So, according to Apple Music, Dawes was still my number one.
Does Apple Music have like one of those rap?
They
things?
have a rap.
Title
It's
doesn't
called
have that,
it's
and
called a
I
replay.
I kind of like
Tidal
that they
doesn't-
don't.
Tidal doesn't have it. I kind of
like
like
it.
that. I kind of like that they don't, but I did set up Last FM, so I'm going to start using that next year to keep some kind of stats about it.
I'm not
it's
against
just
it.
I
interesting
had used
to see.
Last FM for years and then stopped about 10 years ago, and so I'm curious because
Yeah.
the Tidal has integration with it. So I'm curious.
I'm
how,
not
like,
against it. It's just more of like it's kind of nice.
It is
to
kind of
be like,
nice that they're not telling
just
you
listen
like
to the music that I listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like better than anyone because I've listened to whatever so much.
you're not
you
the
know?
top 1%.
Yeah.
of whatever the listener thing is.
That kind of shit I don't care about.
No,
I'm more
I don't
curious about.
think any of that's even
Yeah.
true. There's too many people who posted they were the top 1% of Taylor Swift, and it's like that doesn't make
Oh,
sense.
in the Spotify stuff?
Yeah,
there,
I
there
know the
was-
1% of that would be really large, but
Yeah.
there's no way I know everybody in that.
I think it was the lead singer of Dashboard Confessional made a video that was like, I need.
Chris Cabrera?
Yeah.
Carrabos?
I thought I would screw up his last name. So
I think it's Cabrera.
Instead, you let him do it.
yeah, well, I think he knows more about that than I do. Anyway, he was like, I know a lot about that. He was like, can you
Seen him
tell?
like
Can
5
someone
times,
can
Adam.
someone tell me how this song is in my top 10 and I've only listened to it once?
That was a huge thing on
Yeah.
TikTok. I'm not on TikTok anymore, but like last year when I was on TikTok, I remember that being a thing of like these TikTok, they're music TikTokers, not like musicians, but
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who are like an Anthony Fantano
Right.
of TikTok. They were talking about like, yeah, like it's so cool to see all this stuff, but I listened to this song once, and also like, where's this song? I listen to it probably every day.
Yeah.
It should be somewhere in here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did realize that a number of my
Smoke and
friends
mirrors.
and one member of my family very like didn't want to tell me until I asked that Drake was their #1 artist, and I have a lot of opinions.
More of a Josh fan myself,
Nice.
and at age 12.
Yeah, but in both Drakes it did.
Yeah. My fiance one time, one of your band members, one of your lead men,
You say men.
texted me. I'm the like top 0.1% or whatever. I'm like the top fan of Moniker, and my fiance saw that at the time. Was like, fuck that, and like worked really hard to like game the algorithm to like dethrone him. And it's like, it shouldn't be him. It should be one of us. Like it should be someone on the inside or something.
So
And
that
it didn't work.
That
She never
also-
got it to work. And that was like, I think the smoke signal of like, oh, these things smoke and mirrors, and it's
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
if you still like it, but like it's like maybe don't put too
I mean,
much
it-
effort into like being the #1 fiance
It's
fan.
all meant for marketing for Spotify.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't. They're not saying it's like perfectly accurate or it has everything encompassed in it. I'm sure there are artists that they have not included in stuff
Yeah.
specifically because of like negotiation problems.
almost every member of one of the bands that I'm in had that band as their top, at least in their top 5.
Drake.
Yeah, Drake. And
It- like, no, but
no.
seriously.
They had that band. Like, sorry. Like all the band members had the band
Their
we're all
band.
in,
Oh.
and it like in
I
their
thought you
top
were like
5.
not saying a band. I was like,
No. Sorry.
just say it.
Here's the best part about that is did you guys see that now artists like send a message at the end? Like so they're like, oh my god, thank you so much for listening and supporting. So they all got
We're red
front-
red jumpsuit apparatus. You're listening to Radio Disney.
Channel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was real good. All
That's
right,
funny.
Adam, your turn.
Yeah.
Somehow I knew I was going to be last.
You son of a bitch.
I think you planned it.
You were just hoping I burn out.
My pick was Blur's new album, The Ballad of Darren, which I think is a surprise to everybody.
It was a surprise.
Yes.
It was a
I think I only mentioned it on the show once,
Surprised me at all.
maybe twice.
It surprised me a little bit because of what he has talked about and what he has liked this year. That's the
And
surprise.
It's not what I've listened to the most. I
Yeah.
will say that. I think it's the thing I've enjoyed the most, though, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
I surprisingly really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did not think I went into this. Maybe I think I was in a bad mood, to be honest. when
I mean,
listened-
I think
put it
if
on.
you have a pre-existing idea of what Blur is, you're gonna say, I don't want to listen to this.
think
If you don't like Blur,
yeah.
it's reasonable to go. I'm not gonna like this.
if you
But
can
it's-
say this
it's
about Blur,
different.
they are somewhat of an underdog.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you can fairly say that, but like I do.
It's a
Don't
little
people
bit,
don't
yeah.
give them a fair shake?
Right.
Right, and I would argue this album and the two before it are all different
The
enough.
album
like,
before the ice
substantially
cream
different.
one,
Yeah.
oh my god, Magic Whip.
Magic Whip is also
So
really
good.
great.
I think that's their magnum opus. I don't think they'll ever like do
Yeah,
better
that's probably
than
fair.
that.
Yeah.
I went into it having preconceived notions and also probably in a bad mood, like I said, and I found that the things that kind of kind of bothered me at first, but then really kept me going was like very strange chord progressions and very strange things that that really pointed at those strange chord progressions. It wasn't just like, here's a weird chord for a second. It was like, here's a melody note that would also point at that super strange chord in the chord progression, or like a synth line that would point that out.
Yeah.
But every single song at the very least had like a ton of energy behind it, and like I never got bored. I never got less interested. I was just like, wow, this just keeps going this direction.
Yeah, it's a fairly short. It's not a short album, but it's fairly short.
40 minutes long.
Yeah, it's shorter than some recent picks I've had.
Sure, yeah.
For example,
I want to.
yeah.
This is like a big brain moment for me. I want a little game here. Did the Gorillaz release an album this year? I haven't looked it up yet. I think they did.
I think
Do
they,
you?
They did.
I think they did.
They did.
Okay, so they did.
Unless it was
It
last
says
year.
something. That says something.
They
Yeah.
did. I think everyone hated it, right?
It's a
I
Gorillaz
remember
album,
listening
so
to
I
it,
get
and not liking it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 2023.
What did you
Crasher
say?
Island. It's a Gorillaz album.
Well,
so
I
get
didn't.
it.
I didn't hate it.
We all forgot it.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the Gorillaz, they're so bogged down with all the like collaboration.
Yeah.
The best Gorillaz songs I think are so obviously just Damon Albarn, which is why I'm like, well, I'm just gonna listen to Blur because it's much better,
I really enjoyed it.
consistent.
Well,
I
and
thought-
he's done solo stuff too.
His solo stuff's great.
which is really good. This feels like the most personal Blur
Yeah.
album that he's done.
I do have to ask though, what are some of the? We know that like Foos and Queens are also part of your, but like what are
Yeah.
some other? You said you had 15 albums on your list.
I had
last
I had a
time.
lot of things I was thinking about. I'll do top 5: Queens and Foo Fighters, Margaret Glaspie, John Baptiste's album.
Did you see that? What is it? The documentary that they did
No.
based off that
Oh.
album. It's on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet,
For
but
what?
Is it
it's
about
great.
his wife?
John Baptiste.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's about like the Grammys and like how he had the best year of his life
And
while
then the
also having the
worst year,
worst
yeah.
year concurrently. Like when he got nominated for basically when he swept all those categories concurrently, his wife was starting her first day of chemo.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
No.
I got
but
it on
I
like
I
my
knew-
like wish list or whatever you call that.
I've
and
I've
I'm gonna watch
seen
it.
some interviews of him where he's talked about that, and it's
It looks wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah. Love to see that guy live. He just seems like a positive
I really kind of wish
energy.
I was in New Orleans earlier this year, and I wish I'd been there around the time this album came out because he was just playing shows on the street corners randomly,
Oh wow.
where he just like would set up with his band. And
I love that.
Yeah.
It's some person outside inside a restaurant. It's like fucking John Baptiste is outside again. I'm trying to have a bad day, dude. Get the fuck
Yeah.
away from me.
He won't
It's
allow
pronounced beignet.
He's
By the way, that Blur song, "The Narcissist," which was the single on that record,
I don't know which one is a single, but
it,
this was one of
sorry,
those.
that really threw me off.
This was one of those
You
albums
just
that
shut you down. You just got
this was one of those
So
albums
true.
that kind of like came out of nowhere. Like I didn't know they were coming out with an album.
Yeah.
And then I think I saw there was like a single, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm not going to listen yet. And then waited for the whole
Yeah.
album. And I think part
I
of
think
why
I
I like
remember
the album so
sending
much.
this single to you,
You
saying
probably
like,
did.
"Hey,
Yeah.
it's really good," and I listened to that probably the most out of like any song for a while until somebody said, "Hey, you know that song's not as good as you think it is," and I was like, "Oh,
who the fuck says
Way
that?
to,
fuck
way to
you.
ruin that.
my fiance."
Oh.
I don't worry, like pretty quickly. I still say that to her. I was like, "Hey, you know that's not as good as you think it is,"
Oh,
because
God.
it like it burned me. I was like, "Oh."
yeah.
That is a good
Yeah.
line though.
That is
Yeah.
a good line.
Yeah.
I definitely played it too much around her, and I can accept that.
Well, that's why she said it.
What else is on your list? Album.
The only other one I was going to get to was Olivia Rodrigo's album.
Yeah, it was
which
on my list
My,
too,
my
yeah.
wife really thought was going to be my pick because I think
Yes.
that's my most listened to
Yeah.
album of the year.
At dinner, she said he picked wrong.
Yeah, that's fair. That is what she said. Yeah.
That's funny.
So that's her pick.
Yeah, it
There you go.
definitely caught me off guard. I haven't
Yeah.
spent any amount of time listening to Blur, like outside of singles.
Yeah.
So when I was listening to it, I was like, "Whoa, this is really like." I'm not surprised because it's Damon Albarn, and he like has a lot of history of doing really.
Like stuff really well.
Yeah, it's almost orchestral, almost.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah.
arrangement feels very thick. It's, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very dense.
Yeah.
Well,
Feels thick.
There's
Feels
a lot
thick.
of parts of this too that sound like Arctic Monkeys, and
Yeah.
he's talked about that influence. And
Yeah,
there's
I
a,
read
a
that.
couple songs that sound very Bowie-esque to me.
Oh,
which
this
I think,
I definitely got
I
that
think
too. Yeah.
kept
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
This was the year that Zane Lowe blew the lid off of the Clint Eastwood
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
Oh,
button
yeah,
on
that dude-
the
that's
Clint
such a
Eastwood
great
yeah,
interview.
exactly. Yeah.
boom,
Dun, dun,
boom,
dun.
boom.
Yeah.
And everybody to this day is like, "Wow, what a piece of shit!" And it's like, you do it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, and
Do
the price for that instrument like skyrocketed.
It did. That's wild.
There's gonna be so many Clint Eastwoods now.
So let's read some more fan submissions. I got one here that I feel like a dick, and I'm really sorry if you're listening. But someone named Andrew Martinez said, "Get me back on the pod." I don't know who that person is.
Andrew Martinez, you can have my spot.
Yeah, and I battled if I was going to read that, and then I was like, I think I have to. I think because I'm super curious. I scrolled this person. I was like, I don't know this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Would it have been like a Fun Fridays?
No, no.
Where we
as-
mentioned
as-
some of
as-
the bands.
Is that
well-
the name of their album of the year?
You guys
and
just
we
lost.
didn't
Get me back on the pod.
It's possible. I am so sorry if I'm forgetting who you are. But we'll get you on. We'll get you back on the pod.
We
We'll
have
make sure we do
done
it. Yeah.
a lot of episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So
In
sorry.
what capacity we get you back on the pod will depend on when we find out when you were on the pod.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we have a submission from Instagram handle is not mere o. Thank God we left the garden by Jeffrey Martin. And then we have a submission from our good friend Ivan Paramore. This is why.
Oh man.
I was surprised that you didn't mention that in your top 5.
No, not my top 5. God, I think the first half of that album is gold, and the second half of that album bores me. I think it's still a good album, still great, but it just didn't do it
This
for
is a
me.
recurring thing of a lot of music bores you recently.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been
I think
it's
that's
been
fair.
an emotional year for music.
I think maybe I meant to mention
Yeah,
In the
post-
Paramore
pandemic.
sense?
in the Paramore
Dude, there's some
sense,
sad.
yeah.
Have you been listening to the new season of Song Exploder?
No.
Oh well, never mind.
Damn, get shit on. So I think that I meant to mention earlier.
There's somebody who was on recently that.
Foo Fighters were on recently.
Okay,
Dude,
See,
did you hear that?
didn't listen
I
to
don't.
it yet,
I don't
no.
know. anything about that.
So I wouldn't. I pick and choose what I listen to
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
I don't listen to every single one. And
He
you
wouldn't
know
have listened,
this.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one I'm gonna skip for multiple
should-
reasons. But like
should listen to that
specifically,
one.
I don't want to listen to them and be like, my friend died. And I'm
No,
like, I
it's-
don't want
it's
to
his
hear
mom
that.
died.
Mom died. Yeah.
Yeah, probably also his friend.
I was gonna mention, and I meant to say like 2023 in music for playing music. There was and listening. I found that there was so many good releases, and it was a good year. But I like the burnout was way more fucking real than it's been in a long time for like every aspect of it. There were times where playing music I loved as soon as I started playing, and as soon as I was done, I was like, I don't want to do that for a while. I also very unfortunately like had moments where I was like just like having a bad time doing the thing that I love, and so I don't know. It was like I was getting bored with stuff. I was getting like kind of like a little, and that's why certain releases were really nice. Well, for example, like our podcast pick of the year, that album for me was a rejuvenation. Like I found that to be like a rebirth, and I think also honestly Jackson's album pick of the year was a rejuvenation for me. I thought that album really brought like a lot of energy, and looking at 2024, I think that's something that I really want more of, is more like stuff that could just bring the vibes, the good vibes up a little bit, you know,
Yeah, I think I learned more songs this year than any other year in my life.
which is crazy to think from like college too.
Yeah,
That's wild.
dude. It's somewhere in the range of 350 or 400 songs.
It's crazy.
That's almost a song a day.
Some days it was like 30 songs.
Yeah.
I was about to say this was probably like pretty loaded on some days.
yeah.
And get excited. It's a leap year next year, so you get to add at least one more song to that.
True. So Jackson, let's hear your album of the year.
Yeah, so my album of the year, it was both easy and difficult to pick. Easy because the album's great, front to back, just love it. And then also hard because, as we mentioned, there's so many great albums. I struggled to pick between 3 specifically, but I ended up landing on Hell Mode by Jeff Rosenstock. I am a recent convert to Jeff Rosenstock, as in within the last 12 months. I remember I heard a couple singles of his just passive in passing and just was like, okay, I'm gonna try and get into this guy. I knew his backstory with his band Bomb the Music Industry, and like that he was this kind of like DIY god of a sense, and I'm sure he would hate to hear that. But
I mean, I think that's how like whenever I have mentioned like since getting into him through you, whenever I mentioned how much I like this album, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I've known who he is for years." So I think that that's a pretty apt description. But like you were talking about like the documentaries and stuff you were watching on him like early this year. It was
Are they good?
Yeah.
I want to see them.
told
I
us
sent
about
one
them.
to you. I'll send it to you again.
Yeah.
It's really good.
This is why Jackson quit, is because he keeps sending
No,
us
no,
stuff.
I'm good about watching all the shit that he sends.
Um,
Just got buried.
Just not that one.
Don't laugh so hard, man. You're making it worse.
I did have a friend who like showed me Bomb the Music Industry early in college, like when I was like a freshman or a sophomore, and I was just like, "Oh, this is really good," and
Hold
then
on,
never did
I
a
have to
deep
interrupt you. I'm
dive.
so sorry. We haven't had Podcast Moth in a
in
while.
a very long time.
Jackson
Nature's
brought
back.
fucking Podcast Moth.
Wow.
Nature is healing,
It's a Christmas miracle.
and as we always do with the Podcast Moth, we punch. Yeah, so I got into, I kind of listened to Bomb the Music Industry, but then I heard basically his single Nausea is what really turned me over on him. And then I just kind of got into it. And then I found out, oh, he's releasing an album this year. And I was like, cool. This will be like that's my real entry point. And I was into stuff before that, but like this is like the first like full album that I got super into. And it just like, if you know anything about Jeff Rosenstock, he's a really talented musician, but like vocally, it's one of those people that like I don't want to sound like I'm saying he's a bad singer, because he's a really good singer, but it's very much, it's not like focused on like being like super like pretty is I guess the thing. And I think for me, I've really enjoyed listening to it and seeing it live in that sense, because I was just like, I'm more and more getting away from caring about the technical side and that kind of stuff, and just like really focusing on like what sounds good to me. And if it's technical, it's technical, but if it's not, if it's just like,
Raw.
just
In a
it's
sense,
raw.
yeah. It is funny to go immediately from technical. We go like, yeah, they're very technical too. Like if they're not technical, the go-to is like, it's raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the coolest things about this album are for me what drew me in was his voice maybe isn't like whatever, like you said, like just absolutely the prettiest or the best voice, but he is selling everything he's doing. He's doing like the punk DIY punk vocalist thing unbelievably well, and the other members of his band are technically crushing.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like,
so you're
some of the
referring
blast
to
beats?
Dude, the drummer
Death
is
Rosenstock is the name of his band.
yeah. And particularly the drummer is
Yeah, he
like, I mean,
kills.
it's crazy because
Dude fucks.
he for sure fucks. Listening to that album, I was like, the first time I was blown away by the playing, but some of it felt like sometimes you hear like DIY records and sometimes you're like, well, they're not gonna play it like exact note for note live, and he did. There was a couple things that he like went crazier on, but he like there was stuff that I'm like, that feels so random.
He's got a live album where he messes up the riff at the end, and he keeps saying like, hey, can we try that again? And then they do it. He's like, no, not at that part. Go back a little bit further. And he nails it after the third time, and like the whole crowd goes wild. I was like, after seeing them live, I was like, man, like I know exactly what that felt like. And like, even though it is this kind of like raw thing, it like he clearly knows what he's doing. And it's not just like straight punk where he's just playing, 3 chords. He has these like just melodies on guitar that like they're hidden, but they're also like when I'm trying to learn his songs, I'm like, well, fuck, this is crazy that he's doing that. But like early on in his career, he was doing a lot of that where it was just like, it was very raw, very, he didn't have songs that like I would say at the end of the night he wouldn't feel like he needed to like rest his vocals. But on this record, specifically the song Heal Mode, it's very clear that he's like embracing some like, hey, like it's okay for me to sound pretty, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like so much so that like my fiance and I were talking about like, I wouldn't mind that being like our first dance. Like it's like like we don't think that wouldn't be fitting. And I was just like, it's wild that like I did not think at the beginning of this year that Jeff Rosenstock would be like in consideration to be in my wedding playlist. But yeah, absolutely love the record. And then also it was my most anticipated show of the year as well.
Yeah.
And I have to ask you, Hagen, because I think I really forced you to go to this show. I was basically saying like I'm gonna have a bad time if you're not there.
No, I mean,
Because you told me mistakenly that you enjoyed the record, and I was like, "All right, cool. You have to go to the show now. You have to go."
and I really wanted to go, and I was planning on going, and I waited until like the week of to for sure decide because I knew that I was gonna be really tired that week, and it was
Same.
unbelievable. It was so fucking. It was like one of like the most fun shows you can imagine.
Have you ever seen me run into a pit?
Dude, the first song starts and he just sprints away from us.
I saw it.
Well, he's gone.
Like I looked at I told my fiance.
I can
before,
picture
was like,
it, but it's really funny in my head. I'm
Yeah.
sure you look cooler than
It
the
was-
image in my head.
There, what it was. By the way, 2 days after I got back from Japan, still reeling from jet lag. My fiance was very like fucked up from it, and I basically told her I was like, I don't really care. I have to like thrash at this show. I'm
Yeah.
like so excited for this show. I have to. And I was like, is it okay if I go do that, knowing that you're probably gonna stand on the fringes of the crowd? And she was like, definitely go do it. You can stay up there the entire time. You don't need to worry about me. First song goes on, and then there's just those kind of like it starts out slow, and then it has like with like most of his songs, it gets into like a blast beat or something like that. And there's just two guys who ran past me, and I was like, seize the day. And I ran with them, and I was up there for like maybe 5 songs, and I just was the best time. I was having such a good time.
Did you go up with him?
No, I didn't go up with him. No,
I did turn around to him a couple times and did the, hey,
Yeah,
come
he did.
over.
Yeah,
But I was like, he's not going to do it.
I found that I like at that show I was like if any single person here is just like it's okay with the music but you have to have fun here. This is just pure fucking fun.
It was so good. And like, I knew way more songs than I expected that I would know.
Yeah.
And like, that felt so good. It got to the point where I was like, well, I think I've heard all the songs I want to hear. And then he'd play a song. I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I basically, at one point, he has a song called Scram off of his No Dream record that has a breakdown in the middle of it. And I kept telling my fiance, I was like, people are going to lose their fucking mind for that part. I can't wait. Like, there's going to be a wall of death. There's going to be all this fucking shit. And that was the last song that I was up there for, because like as soon as that breakdown happened, everyone went crazy. And I like
Yeah.
turned around at my fiance, and like she was just like, yeah, giving me a thumbs up. I was like, it's happening. It was so good. But yeah, Jeff Rosenstock, Hell Mode, incredible record.
Absolutely.
I super enjoyed it, and I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't listened to anything from him. I think we did listen to like
Yeah, we listened to a little bit, but
Yeah.
I showed you the first song on the album.
Yeah.
Dude, I could take you under the wing if you want to go down the rabbit hole.
I'm super up for it because I thought that the pacing of the record was really well done.
so good.
Where I was like, this is going to be a tiring listen because
Like,
it's so
exhausting.
energetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time I felt that, there was a song that was slower.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you say like the maybe this is how it used to be, but you talk about like the 3 chords or simple thing, but the guitar melodies are doing stuff. His chords are like he's got very interesting chord
Yeah, yeah.
progressions.
Yeah, no,
he's
he
doing,
definitely
he's-
does.
He's doing shit that's like, oh, okay, I would have never ever guessed that was gonna be next.
Yeah, and some of the ways, like there was one song where he plays like a riff and then it goes up a whole tone. He plays,
Yeah.
It plays it up another whole tone and up another whole. And I was like, whoa, let's follow this line.
Yeah.
It did some of the production, some of the vibe of it did kind of remind me of the Blue Album.
Yeah,
Some of the
I can see
tones,
that.
and it was really nice because I feel like it was everything I enjoyed about the Blue Album and nothing I didn't like about the Blue
I think he's really struck a chord of being produced enough and then not going too far. And because you can still hear the energy.
and everything that needed to be heard as an important part in the moment of the song
yeah.
was pushed forward in the mix in a way that was really well done.
Yeah. I mean, I could, like, it was just one of those shows where, as I said, I thought I had heard all the songs I wanted to hear. Like, oh, they played Welcome to the Black Parade. I'm done. I don't need any more. And
Yeah.
then, like, he would play a song and, like, I'd throw my arm around my fiance and we'd both be, like, yelling the lyrics. I was like,
Oh, that's awesome.
also, this is a good thing. I'm taking up a lot of time because I won't be here next week. But this was one of those, a valuable lesson for me of I tend to not show people the albums or musicians I like because I don't want to. I always say the thing of like, oh, well, I don't care if people don't like what I like because I like it still. But that's not entirely true. I'm just as, susceptible to it as anyone else. And this is a great scenario where Hagen really liked it. My fiance recently told me, hey, you haven't been listening to Jeff Rosenstock a lot lately. That's been kind of bumming me out. And I was like, oh, I've actually been on purpose not listening to it around you because I was worried I was going to like
doing too
overdo
much.
it.
Yeah.
And she
You
was
know,
like,
he's
no,
not as good as you think he is.
I was a bit worried for that, but not in a like her specifically way, but anybody.
Yeah,
and it was like I was like, fucking play it. I'll like, and it's gotten to the point where like I don't try and like preserve my voice when I sing his songs anymore.
Yeah.
I just full on scream it and I lose my voice with it in the car because I'm just like, fuck it. This is what I want to do with my voice, and I'm having a good time. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about 2 other albums, even though I haven't. No, I'm going to talk about a lot more actually.
Like you said, you're not going to be here next week.
My
This is his hour.
favorite song of the year was Bluish by Chris Farron. His record Doom Singer. He's real good friends with Jeff Rosenstock. Jeff Rosenstock plays on that record a ton. But his song Bluish, just absolutely love it. And there seems to be this community around at like Polyvinyl Records where it's like Jeff Rosenstock, Chris Farron, and then people like AJJ and Diners.
Homies with like Namdi too, right?
Yeah. Namdi played on a movie score that Jeff Rosenstock did this year, and
I want to hear what that sounds like.
it's a kids movie, so I don't think you'll.
Yo,
Maybe not
actually,
as much,
so
but
funny.
that seems like a crazy pairing.
they're like best friends.
Little tiny sidebar. I mentioned our friend of the show Blake, who had his favorite albums were Wilco and Open Mike Eagle, and he had asked me today. Because I said he's a coworker of me and Dave's, and I had said that Adam and Dave's picks were really interesting, and I'm curious what everyone thinks. And he's like, I'm trying to figure out what Adam likes. It's like I do not understand what he listens to.
Yeah, it's kind of the you. Well, I was going to say he's the wild card, but when you're on the show, you're definitely the wild card.
I don't
feel
think
like-
Adam's a wild card. I think people just like aren't taking the time to like just really listen. Like I think Adam's consistent.
I think mostly consistent, but I will say the show has had me listen to more things that I never would have expected
but-
to be a fan of.
Also, like, I remember a few years back, his album of the year shocked
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
saying
fair.
he can't.
It's like, but like this was a shock in that he had talked about so many other albums
And not talked about this one very much at all.
Yeah, and like I think people have a hard time with the fact that like he listens to so many scores and shit. I mean, that doesn't say if it's bad, but like it makes sense that people can't quite hone in to what you like. Go ahead.
I mean,
sorry.
I feel like I'm pretty good about listening to everything that's not
Yeah.
country, and now I listen to country.
Yeah,
Good job, Dave.
you're welcome.
Moving on. I thought 10,000 Gex was going to be my album of the year.
Really?
I
I thought that
do
might
think
be
that
it,
is
yeah.
the album I listened to the most this year, but it obviously came out earlier in the year. Absolutely love that record. I think quality-wise, one of the best albums of the year is Dog's Body by Model Actress.
I thought that was gonna be your album of the year.
Early on in the year, it really was my album of the year, but I kind of decided against it because I was like, I'm not listening to it as much, and I think there is a potential of like next year, it's just Jeff Rosenstock that I'm still listening to.
Right.
So I still an incredible album, and I think it's like I don't know how they like write the music they're writing, and it's super cool. Would love to see them live. I do want to last thing I am going to say is I do want to give a quick shout out to Civil Recording, which is Michael Briggs. I think that he has had a hell of a year, specifically coming out. I think I have this in chronological order. Young Dean. Terror on Vacation. I remember hearing that, and I was like, whoa, people in our like music scene are making music like this.
It's kind of crazy.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So
Although
I think that came out in like January.
It came out in January. Not to take away from the record, but it was really fascinating to watch them live because they were all reading sheet music.
Yeah, but like, really, that to me says that like Young Dean is like writing all this stuff out in a like a sense that like none of us are doing that kind of stuff. We're just like getting in a room and like figuring
I got
it
this
out.
riff.
And it's like here is like the entire thing thought out on a piece of paper before it is played theoretically. I don't know if that's actually how that happened. So sorry. But the other 2 more albums that like I was absolutely just amazed by that are coming out of like, you know, the same scene as us. Lorelei K's Gucci Doom. Very like that's been an act that's I guess has been consistent, but also on this like upward trajectory that's
always
been
going
incredible.
up. Always going up.
Seeing them live with the full band, I remember seeing Lorelei K
And
as
Dean's her drummer.
yeah,
Yeah.
just wild. It's just one of those things where, once again, I don't know how they're writing that kind of music.
Yeah.
And then also towards the latter part of the year, Big Head's debut record, The Worst Is Yet to Come. Personally, I think it's the best album that's come out of like the local scene.
You're hurting my feelings a little bit, but you also didn't say my album, so it's okay.
Well, it wasn't recorded at
Yeah,
Civil
yeah,
Recording.
I got you. I'm also kidding.
It was fucking like whoa.
It
That
came
was
out of
crazy.
it came out of nowhere, and I listened
Is that
to
the trio?
It's Mills.
Yeah, yeah.
But
dude.
Darling Farm might be the one you're thinking of.
Oh,
Darling Farm
maybe.
also crushes. There's a couple other Denton bands you should check out for sure. Wish Kit, they dropped a single that is insanely good recently. Darling Farm put out I think it's an EP, it could be an album recently that also crushes. Mills is in that band, but Mills is Big Head.
Oh, okay.
And it is so fucking good.
I listened to it one time through, immediately texted Michael Briggs and was like, holy shit, this is incredible. And he goes, thank you. That one was a lot of work. We're very proud of it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you should be. So like really shout out to Michael Briggs at Civil Recording for just like, honestly, the output has been quite
Killer.
incredible
Yeah.
this year. And I look forward to seeing more that's coming out next year.
Yep.
Potentially stuff I've recorded.
All right, so let's get some more fan submissions going, and this is gonna lead us into our podcast pick of the year. We got a last minute submission from Mal.
Fuck 'em.
Oh, and from the chat.
That don't worry, I have the chat one taken care of. Mal said never submitted, but Victoria Monet, which we had talked about her.
Yeah.
So Victoria Monet is a Grammy nominated artist that we didn't know about, and yes, so apparently that album is very, very good. Some more fan submissions that are leading us into our album pick. We have from our super fan, number one fan, Ian, Queens of Stone Age times New Roman.
Yeah.
We have from
Someone had to do it.
Yeah, we have from our from someone we work with, Foo Fighters, and we have from our other super fan, my mom, Foo Fighters,
Yeah.
and we have
She didn't like the new Sufjan record?
she I don't know if she listened
He's
to it yet.
officially out as gay now because of that record.
Well, now she's gonna feel real bad she hasn't
Oh
listened
yeah,
to it.
you weren't on the show when that came out.
It was not.
And then in the chat we have Lupe with Foo Fighters, and all of this to say that Foo Fighters was not our album of the
No,
year
it wasn't.
pick, for the podcast. I will reiterate, Queens of Stone Age and Foo Fighters, both of those albums were incredibly emotional. He doesn't have anything to say about this. Both of those albums were incredibly emotional. They were incredibly dense. Queen's production took me a little bit to get over also.
I think
loved
yeah,
it.
the very first time I listened
Yeah.
to it, I think I talked about this here. I was listening to it on a HomePod, and I was like, "This sounds like total shit."
Yeah.
Like
It-
the
it's
production
tough.
quality is not good. It
It's-
sounds better on two real speakers,
Still sounds weird,
but
though.
it still sounds wrong.
Yeah. So, but I love both those albums.
Quick question: what are fake speakers, Adam?
HomePod.
HomePod.
Do you have it on vinyl?
No, not yet.
No.
I love both those albums. Very, very emotionally thick, very musically dense. The Foo Fighters album, the ending will always give me like a full body reaction. The way the teacher goes into rest, I can't stress how much these albums, especially the Foo Fighters one, how big they are. And I think I maybe speak for the three of us when I say that.
Dude, Rest is probably my song of the year.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, I don't think any of us could have picked it as our album of the year because it's hard. It's hard to listen to.
We also didn't pick it as our
Not thinking about
podcast
that.
album of the year because instead we picked Snow Angel by Renee Rapp because holy fucking shit is that not just a pop masterpiece.
Gorgeous.
I
Left her in Hamilton.
hate him.
He was ready for that one.
So I love this album. I've loved it since the people who introduced me to Renee Rapp, I got to I did a session with them a couple weeks ago, and I was like, because of you guys, I found Renee Rapp because they're obsessed with her, and I think it's just one of the best like pop albums I've heard in a long fucking time. I love
Yeah.
Guts. I think Guts is amazing. Guts was also on my list.
Those I don't know because Tidal won't tell me, but I'm pretty sure those are my top two listened albums of the year.
Yeah, and both of them Actually, I don't know when Snow Angel came out, but I know when I found Snow Angel it was kind of in the second
About the
half of the
same
year.
time,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Guts definitely came out in September. It was the same
Yeah.
day as Briston record, I think.
Yeah.
And so but the Snow Angel album, like it has like really good trajectory as far as like your ups, but it also really mellows you out. But in almost every single mellow song, it gets like, I hate to say the word epic, but it gets epic.
Well,
you know?
almost every song is like surprising.
Yeah.
And it goes in a direction I didn't expect.
Yeah.
So.
I could not suggest this album enough. And if you happen to like her voice, just wait for the Mean Girls movie, because she's playing Regina George in the movie musical, and she'll be singing all over that. And I can't wait for that as well. Although I heard they're cutting like 4 or 5 songs from the musical for the movie, which I think is really
Seems
stupid.
a little
What?
disappointing.
What are you picking? You can pick up the mic. You're okay.
No, I was just gonna trash on the Mean Girls musical.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
express yourself.
No, it's fine. There's no need. I'm just gonna say it's really bad.
What's really interesting is that like a lot of people, because they didn't market Wonka as a musical, and they're not marketing Mean Girls as a musical.
I will say I had no idea Wonka was a musical till just now.
Right. So they're not. They're
Both
doing
the
that.
other ones were musicals.
They're doing. They're
They have music in them. They're
Yeah.
not musicals nonstop.
The Gene Wilder one, I would say, feels like a musical because of the time that it came out.
I think that's the bigger part. Yeah.
but it doesn't.
And I never saw the other one, so I have no idea.
The Johnny Depp one.
Yeah.
So both these movies were not marketed as musicals because people don't like musicals apparently. So
That year that we had great musicals coming out, like movie musicals,
Yeah.
they bombed hard.
Yeah,
The
exactly,
Tick
yeah.
Tick Boom, In the Heights, and then West Side Story.
Yeah.
They all did terribly, even though they were all fantastic.
absolutely phenomenal. So people don't like musicals, so they're not marketing them that way. In fact, the first trailer for the Mean Girls musical had an Olivia Rodrigo song playing in the trailer, and I was sitting here like, I'm sorry, where's Renee Rapp singing? This is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, there's no hope for like.
Right.
I mean, even the Wicked movie, I just don't
No.
see it doing well, even though that's like one of the biggest
Yeah.
musicals.
So they're not marketing this way, marketing it as a musical. So a lot of people are seeing the Mean Girls movies coming out. They're like, they're already doing a remake of this movie. It's like,
Yeah.
Well,
hold on.
Oh, already it's 20 years,
Yeah, but like,
which is scary to people. but-
yeah, maybe that's what it is. But like,
Yeah.
people are like, it's a cult classic. It hasn't been that long. Why are we doing this? And I'm like, well, I mean, yes, it is a remake, but it's very different. People are going to be singing a lot. So it's regardless.
Yeah.
of,
I assumed it could also serve as like kind of a sequel, even though it's obviously not the same people, but like a
Tina
spiritual,
Fey is back as
spiritual
the same,
like
you know,
sequel.
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah. So I mean, but it's I'm excited for it. But Renee Rapp, absolutely incredible, amazing singer. If you guys haven't watched live footage of her, also she sounds exactly the same. She's just nuts. She's absolutely she's incredible.
Thank you, Lin-Manuel Miranda, for showing Hagen Renee Rapp.
I was she in Hamilton?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think she
I
was.
don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm
I'll
like,
just look it up.
I like,
think so.
I feel like I would have noticed that in all of my
I
obsession.
know she's
with
in
her.
Broadway stuff.
Mean Girls, the
Yeah,
musical.
I think that's it.
I don't know if that's it, but I don't think she was in
Well,
Hamilton.
I think she was doing some interview recently talking about like she wants to focus on music, not acting.
I think
Yeah.
she was like an understudy and then became like on the touring cast.
Fuck what I would have. But
I feel like people would know that.
Hamilton wouldn't have got me into her.
I think everybody who is in Hamilton has some type of notoriety, regardless, at this point.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Anyway, great album.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it. I have one more game for us. I should have done it earlier. It's not like I'm saving it for any good reason. I should have done it before and I forgot. Dave, any updates? What have you found?
I don't think that she's ever been
In Hamilton?
Yeah.
all right,
You're thinking of Anthony Rapp.
I guess you guys, yeah. That's it. It's okay, guys. You can fire me.
Yeah, you're fired. So one more question. I got one more game. I fucking thought that
Where'd you get this? Where'd you get this sexy Santa Claus? This leather daddy Santa Claus shot glass?
It was stolen
Whoa.
Oh, from where?
from a
bar.
Christmas pop up that conveniently we went to again this year. Doesn't have those shot glasses.
I wonder
again.
why.
Because they were stolen.
And they also have this reindeer cocktail that, like, if you go to the menu to order it, it just says like, "We're out." Like, we're out of the commemorative mugs for this.
Oh, I thought it was
People
going to be like you have to give them your license and then you
Nope.
don't get to keep the mug.
Like darts.
Yeah.
Oof. I didn't steal it, but I use it. This game doesn't have any consequences. Just I thought it'd be interesting. How many deep dives did we do this year? Genre episodes don't count, so like Halloween music doesn't count. Like the
Say,
hyper pop episode
how
doesn't
did you
count.
define a deep dive?
So like
Artist?
yeah, like a specific artist we covered. Again, the like the genre stuff doesn't count. So like new metal, grunge, those aren't part of it. I again have the same numbers. Was it 3, 4, 5, or 6?
I'll go
I'm saying
4.
3.
3 and 4.
3. Yeah.
You want to go in
Or 6.
or 6? I'm gonna say or 6.
Or 6.
Please be 5.
Could you name any of them that we did?
Chris Stapleton.
Excellent.
Chris Stapleton.
Excellent. Fuck.
Anyone else got any?
Olivia Rodrigo.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo.
Do you know any we did?
No.
You did them.
He hasn't been listening.
You did them.
You didn't do those two.
Yeah.
You
I did not listen to
you
either
did,
of them.
You did 2 of them.
Good for me. Alanis Morissette.
There you go.
Oh, there was another documentary, wasn't there?
Shit.
It's
Jeff
been a long-
Buckley.
Well, it's been a long year.
That was not this year. Okay, it was Alanis Morissette, The Chicks,
Oh,
Chris Stapleton, Jason Isbell,
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
and Olivia Rodrigo.
My
Out of
God.
5.
Wow.
You guys suck.
Yeah, we all didn't get it right.
We did a lot of episodes, man.
We did a lot of episodes, and I think it was if I had included like the genre stuff, then that would have been confusing.
I think the
but-
Chicks one, the reason why we probably don't remember that is because it was more focused on like a
Story.
situation
Yeah.
as opposed to a record. So I think that's why we were
Jason
confused.
Isbell's was more about a documentary, but we also listened to the,
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
record
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
so.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you listened to that record.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Guts.
Okay.
Wait, that means he signed up for the Patreon
That means no, he didn't.
under a fake name.
Yeah, you guys probably know if I did or didn't.
We know.
Yeah,
It's one of like 4 names.
Unless you're impersonating somebody.
What is this face?
Shock.
Oh, okay, I see. Anybody got anything else? Anybody anything else to
I
say?
love you guys.
I love you too.
Thanks. Love
Yeah,
you
this
too.
is great.
Shut the fuck up.
This
Thanks.
is good other than having him back.
No more jokes about his
I
at his
didn't
expense.
say
I
it.
tried to get him out at the beginning.
I didn't say it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you so much. For those of you who are subscribed to the Patreon, this week I'm doing the shit. We're getting all of I'm unboxing it all up, and everybody gets their stuff. So sorry for the wait. I have been busy, so I apologize for that. But again, yes, if you haven't already been on Patreon, come sign up for Patreon. Get some exclusive content, get some merch, all of that good shit. If you haven't already, Don't Feed the Artists on TikTok, TFTA Podcast on Instagram. And
Are y'all going to be here next week, or are y'all about to take a
I
break?
think we're taking a break.
Moniker.
We haven't talked about it, so
Oh,
we're
yeah,
taking a break.
yeah.
Moniker has a show in Denton on January 10th. We are playing with a band from Houston called Blossom Aloe. We played with them multiple times in various scenarios. Aloe. I don't know. Blossom Aloe, Blossom Aloe. They're really good. We're playing with them at Rubber Gloves Rehearsal Studio here in Denton on January 10th. If you want to come out, that's all
I'm
I
at
got.
Gloves the next night as well with the Static Creatures. So if you want to come out to that,
Top
you want to
0.1% of
If
Moniker.
you want to be at the same dive bar,
Woo, okay, so okay. If you haven't already, please like the video. If you're watching on YouTube, that means a whole lot to us. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please go do that. Please follow on whatever podcast app you're using to listen to this. All of that shit helps us out a ton. If you have any suggestions for what we do next year, you have any thoughts, you want any guest hosts, if you're the guy that I forgot who you were and you want me back on the pod, please email us, DM us, continue to talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. DM us on socials. You can email us at feedback@don'tfeedtheartist.com, or optionally, if feedback doesn't work for you, you can email us at jackson@don'tfeedtheartist.com. That does work as well.
I'm not sure that will work, actually. We disabled his account.
Can I wrap this episode up?
Whenever
you're ready.
What was I doing?
Well, no, I was going to say, can I have the final
Yeah,
say?
you got it. You got it. Go ahead.
Just in case anybody was wondering, these 3 fine gentlemen are invited to my wedding. And most, if not all of you in the chat and who are listening to this show right now in the present or in the future are not invited to my wedding. Thank you and good night.
Fuck off! Get rid of town!
Closing out the year with Cicada Hi-Hats.
You share the screen with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, you got it.
I got
It's a
it.
DJ set.
Yeah, I got it.
He's auditioning for the wedding.
Go home.